The Sports Ball Stuff podcast is brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. Pulpery Media presents Sports Ball Stuff with your hosts, Brock and Ben. This is where we discuss the major sports stories that intrigue us and the little stories that enrage us.
Championship.
Correct, yeah, last week. Before our snow day.
Snowmageddon. Snola. So, I hate Ohio State.
You mean the Ohio State?
Yeah, that. The Ohio State.
Correct, yeah.
Your thoughts?
I mean, I was, at the end of the first quarter, I knew, Notre Dame had dug a deep enough hole. Although they made a game of it.
Yeah, they did.
But that first half.
The first drive though was.
Yeah, like it looked amazing, but
took a lot of time off the clock.
Unlike other coaches and other conferences.
Brian Kelly.
But they made the adjustments and they were able to shut it down. And build a big enough lead to where it didn't come back to bite him in the ass.
Right, because Notre Dame's formula is like play good defense, don't get behind too much, run the football down everybody's throat, and there you go.
Yeah.
They're not built to come from behind.
Not really, no. They were, I think, other than the Penn State game, like the only time they had been behind was in the Northern Illinois game. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they're built for, getting the lead and maintaining the lead.
Right.
So, which it almost looked like that for like a hot second, but,
Yeah, after that first drive, I'm thinking, okay, get a stop. Yeah, well, that didn't happen.
Well, you look at, it's funny too now that we can really talk about it with college football. But you look at the Ohio State payroll.
Yes.
And you go okay, well that's, they invested in that team. So
if that's the way they want to do it, that's the way they want to do it.
And so, from a Notre Dame standpoint, we're coming out of the college playoffs with we get to keep all the money that we got. Don't have to share it.
Yeah, how much? So it was something ridiculous too.
Well, I think I forget what but before going to the national title, they were pocketing over $40 million.
It's like the Champions League in soccer,
right? Yeah,
you make it to a certain, you're just getting paid.
Which that was one of my favorite complaints, going into the national championship when you'd have the talking heads going, Notre Dame needs to join a conference. It's not fair that they get to keep all that money. So y'all are bitching that at least. For whatever you all complained Notre Dame was being stubborn, but then now, I'm surprised you don't have more teams that can contend. Going, guess what? We're not in the conference anymore.
Yeah,
we're independent now too. We don't have to play risk our season on a conference championship.
No.
And if we get into the playoff system, we get to keep everything.
Yeah, well, the college won't let that happen.
No, but
just Notre Dame's Notre Dame. They've been like that forever.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. It's not our fault that the other conferences were anti-Catholic when Notre Dame applied.
And now that they've got all that, all the booster money.
Right. You think of it, and then, now they're back on a national stage. They're not the most hated organization in college football.
Nope.
So
their coach has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, and
why is 2 Chainz wearing 18 chains?
I don't know. False advertising, man.
He's a douchebag.
Or his kid has a better setup.
Who are these people?
But as much as it was so disappointing.
Yeah.
But it was I think maybe 5 minutes. I'm not going to I didn't watch the trophy presentation.
No.
But you got over it, and then you're looking at it like, we got all this money. You are now back at least.
How many years is this? I keep asking. His fourth year, third year.
It's his third year, but he got an extension for, I think, 5 more years.
For forever.
I mean, at this point, yeah. And so, but what they showed is like, in pocketing all that money, like, they're going to be able to go out and work the portal.
Yes, and recruit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what, and again, a national championship would have been really nice, but this whole run really put Notre Dame back on the map.
Well, yeah.
And I think showed too, for a lot of people, like, this is like, if you're a recruit, this is the kind of place that you want to be, because you're going to get national attention. They're going to have the money to pamper your ass.
You just
got to make sure to go to class.
National TV contract.
Correct.
You're going to get exposure. You're at...
And even your road games are going to be on national television.
Right, and you're at Notre Dame.
Right.
You know, I get it. It makes sense. God, LSU used to be like that. Fuck.
Well, and I think you're going to see... There's going to be... And again, that's been the downfall of the SEC, as we've talked about, is that with NIL and the transfer portal, they were stubborn and old men, being like, we're not dealing with this new stuff.
We've been winning without that. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, but you look at this national championship, Ohio State, Notre Dame, both teams that are working the NIL contracts.
Didn't Ohio State, was it their quarterback, their receiver, like all of their skill positions were first year transfers?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So and that's the thing, like, that's what you're seeing with whether it's Ryan Day or Marcus Freeman or some of these other teams that made a decent run, is that it's
not Oregon.
Well, I mean, Oregon did do that, but they're also, I mean, they got caught with their pants down.
They always do that.
Exactly.
Like the Detroit Lions.
But you're going, I mean, and that's something that these athletic directors at these universities are going to start taking hard looks at, is the guy that we're bringing in savvy enough to not reject this new model and accept it?
It's crazy, because now you're going to have your traditional recruiters. Well, it's not been crazy enough. But then they're going to have to hire, like...
We're going to have agents.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're going to have agents for college players.
Right. So you're going to have to, like, not just recruit, like, scout talent now.
Yeah.
And make valuations based on that talent. And see if you want to pay this kid however much money you like.
So you're saying we're in the wrong profession. We need to jump and be agents for college players.
Yeah, apparently. Because that's... Yeah, now it's becoming a professional sport, and I get it. They're kids, you know.
And this is the thing, though, too, is that
ton of money off of them
this
anyway.
could have been avoided if the NCAA said you cannot put a name on the jersey that you sell in the bookstore.
Right.
So, but like you...
Why would you want a name on a jersey in college anyway?
I don't know. I mean, unless... down here, I mean, people are going to be wearing Joe Burrow jerseys forever.
I get it.
But, like, if you want to go the customizable route and do that, that's fine. But it's like, that was the problem, is that all of a sudden these players were... And then, of course, like EA Sports... And then, puts they're going you put this, like, you put Mark Ingram on the cover of the game,
and I didn't
but he doesn't get a dime.
Right.
You plaster their names on the jerseys and sell their jerseys, and you give nothing to them.
You make commercials.
A free education.
Right, that's where I was headed. It's like, I get that they get a free education, but whatever. They're killing themselves for this university for like a half of them.
Yeah.
Not even a half.
I mean, it's not like... I mean, not everybody's got a program like, say, Stanford or Notre Dame or Vanderbilt.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, no, we have expectations for your GPA.
No,
Others are like,
seriously,
as long as you don't drool on yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Or don't get caught,
Well, I mean, that's what Brian Kelly said, that he wanted to go to LSU, was there weren't as many restrictions.
So what you're telling me is he can get the drooling kid?
Yeah.
As long as you can block for my quarterback.
Right.
All right. So from one football to the other football, the NFL is How the fuck did we end up here
You mean
again?
the WWFL?
How did we end up here again?
Because it's rigged. It is rigged. I mean, the refs didn't have to step in the Eagles games because the Eagles were curb stomping Washington. But it's always funny how, like, a team is, like...
I was rooting for Washington. My
Yeah.
wife hated it, but I was more like, it's Jaden Daniels, and I want it to be close as long as possible.
Yeah,
Because I knew it was going to be a blowout.
exactly. Well, and it's, also, we want to see... I mean, that's the thing. Like, you missed out. You could have had a rematch of, the 92 Super Bowl with Washington and Buffalo.
Washington blew them... No, they blew out Denver 52 to something. I don't remember what the
Oh, way
score-
back, yeah.
But yeah, Washington was one of the 4 teams that beat Buffalo.
Right. No,
Washington?
3 teams. Cowboys beat them twice.
I was just about to try that, yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, it was all NFC East teams? Cowboys twice, Washington and the
Giants, yeah.
Fuck, man, it took me all these years to go, holy shit, that was the NFC East.
Yeah.
Sorry, Buffalo. You got beat by a really terrible division.
Right.
I mean, terrible isn't not football-wise, but just, like, teams I don't like.
Yeah, unfortunately. But
So I want to backtrack first to the Detroit Lions. Okay, there is no fucking way that team with that coach, and I get it that their defense was. I think they had a local plumber playing on the defensive line too.
They had the New Orleans Week 3 defense.
Correct. Like they had practice squad players. Yeah. So I get that, but there's just no way that you should finally have the number 1 seed. You're at home,
Right.
first ever. Everybody's stoked. You got a coach. You know this team isn't arrogant. There's no way you let Washington come into your stadium and beat you.
Well, I mean that's the. And
it wasn't
and not to get back into
close.
that discussion, but that's why that I don't know if I were a head coach in college or in the NFL, I would not want to get a bye.
None of the teams that had a bye in college this year won.
No, exactly.
They didn't even make it to the finals.
And unless you got to deal with the refs, you don't want. I mean, you're not. Most teams with the bye in the NFL lose.
Okay, you can't.
Not
tell
every
me
single time, but
Kansas City's been in the AFC Championship 8 years in a row?
Something
You mean
like
to
that,
tell me that there's no one in the AFC that could have beaten them these 8 years? Joe Burrow beat them.
Yeah,
Who
you're
else?
right. Yeah,
So Cincinnati.
and it's anytime Lamar Jackson goes into Arrowhead, he gets the yips.
Lamar Jackson has the yips in any
playoff game.
I don't
yeah.
trust him in the playoffs
Yeah.
anymore.
But I mean it's I'm not going to try and fish for or Jeff Pearlman on TikTok. Like I think kind of put it very well, which is just like this is the most boring matchup we could have gotten out of this year. Like there's all these other dynamics.
You know what? I think it's New Orleans because the last time the Super Bowl was in New Orleans, it was Baltimore versus San Francisco.
Yeah.
The Harbaugh brothers.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that the Superdome was like, fuck this, I'm out of here, and turned its lights off. Because they couldn't even deal with that fucking shit. And now we get to deal with this fucking Patrick Mahomes and the second coming of Christ. And Fox has the game, so we get to listen to Tom Brady.
Yeah, nobody that's going to criticize any of the calls at any time.
Okay, so Brady did have one of those. I don't know how. When the Chiefs are playing and you've got announcers like Tony Romo and stuff going, I don't know what the fuck that was, something's wrong.
Right, yeah.
Something's
Are
wrong.
you talking about the jump ball that they called the Chiefs catch?
Yes.
That actually nobody had and it hit the ground? The following segment has been brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. The Sports Ball Podcast is a production of Pulpery Media, produced and edited by Ben Grimion. Marketing by Brock Ryder. Graphic design by Beck Ryder and Ben Grimion. Music by the Heisenberg Compensators.